Hello, hello. This is Mark. You know me as the Smarties lift driver. Smarties. I've got a fun one today. I tried to do it yesterday and I messed it all up. But you know me as the cheerleader for the millennial generation. I appreciate and respect. I've learned to respect all things millennial. In fact, I'm actively campaigning to become the oldest honorary millennial, and that's another story from the road. But I picked up a guy a couple of nights ago coming back at the airport, and I asked him where he was returning from, and he was just coming in from Iceland. He seemed smart when he got in the car, you know. Iceland? February? And then I find out that he was actually there to try and take some pictures of Northern Lights. So we talked a little bit. His name's Sam. And he's got this, you know, I interrogate my passengers and find out some amazing things. And so in talking with Sam, found a little bit of his history. He's a California kid. And no disrespect in the term kid. You know, to my definition of a kid is anyone I have genes older than. So most are kids. But so Sam was in Iceland. He was in Iceland last year, a couple of weeks earlier, and the weather there, I guess if it's cloudy, you don't see northern lights. You get to see them from the plane, which is kind of an unfortunate, expensive, I don't know, nature's joke. But he'll be going back, he says. Loves it there, and pretty amazing from some of the descriptions of things that he was able to see and do. But Sam was as a 10-year-old, he got a skateboard, like many California kids, and he grew up in the Hollywood area. And he was crazy for skateboarding and hang out with his friends, and they would go learn to do tricks, and they would leave skin and scabs on the sidewalks and driveways all around the Hollywood area. And he was about 10 years old when this started. About a year later, his dad actually gave him, I think it was a Canon AE1. And the camera, and what he started doing then was he started trying to pose pictures of his friends doing skate tricks on skateboards, and the more he did it, the more he enjoyed it, and the bigger the tricks that he tried to catch, and the more sharp the focus, and the better the angles, and how could he make it look differently by where he would shoot, shooting up, shooting down, shooting from behind. Different perspectives gave him far different pictures. And he was bitten by the photography bug in a big way. Within a few months, I read this from an interview in a skateboarding magazine. But within a few months, he would find himself sitting for hours, literally for hours, trying to catch one great picture of one of his skateboarding friends doing an awesome stunt. And that is the mark of a pretty extraordinary photographer. So in school, he had an opportunity to do some internship, and he was lucky to intern for Trans World Skateboarding magazine. And talked about how he kept a sleeping bag in the office, and he would shoot pictures at night and lights and whatever he could, and instead of going home, he'd crawl into his sleeping bag in the office, and he'd wake up in the morning foggy-headed, and people in the office would be drinking coffee as the workday would begin. Good morning, Sam, which is kind of cool. It shows a pretty great amount of I don't know, desire to be successful in a certain field. He continued on with that and ended up becoming like the lead photographer for Trans World Skateboarding magazine, and started to see his future. So over the years, he's spent a few years shooting for them, and started a commercial photography business. And some of his clients are Levi's, and I'm sorry to read, but NBC, Gatorade, Rolling Stone, Red Bull, Tony Hawk Foundation, the Museum of Contemporary Art. You've come far, California skateboard kid. Dickies, Mini Cooper, I mean, to name a few. He's got a couple of other projects that are on the books. One is a book. He wants to write a book. He's got a couple projects for books, and he's working on a film project that I didn't quite get a chance to interrogate him further, but called Brothers. And it sounds like this is going to be something that may very well happen. This kid, in sports lingo, if you're talking about a football player, you would say he's got a high motor, right? I think you'd also say that he's got, you know, I don't think he's got a high ceiling. I think this kid's got an unlimited ceiling. Sam's 24 years old, and to have accomplished all this at 24, pretty darn impressive. One of the most enjoyable rides I've had from the airport probably was about 22 minutes because I took him to Hollywood. He's always lived in that area, and getting ready for his next trip and next photo shoot. And Sam Muller Photography is what he works under. Turn to a picture, and Sam, don't beat me up for this, but he reminds me of Josh Groban. I mean, as far as facially and kind of what some of the hair in the picture, but this kid's future is bright, and it's one of the reasons that driving lift for lift is so doggone enjoyable. And I look forward to driving tonight, because who knows, maybe I'll meet the next Sam in a long line of Sams and other extraordinary young people that I've met over the last 3 years. So at any rate, that's today's story from the road. I'll try and do these more often, try and get one done every day. I ran a little bit long, and I apologize. But promise me this, make it a good day. Thank you so much.